Hi, welcome back to One Dish, Two Ways. Today is meatball subs. So friends and family watching already know this, but years ago, we actually owned a sub shop when we lived in the state of Virginia. So subs are our roots. So we thought we'd go back to the roots and do a video, One Dish, Two Ways. So we're going to start with the lentils. Let me move this out of the way. So, you know the fiasco. The last time I ran the food processor, it was too loud. So I did it before the video this time. So in here, I've got 1 3/4 cup of cooked lentils. And I decided to use oats instead of breadcrumbs. And I've got onion in here and spices, a little bit of nutritional yeast. And I just pulsed it for about 10 seconds in the food processor. I don't want it. You see some things are mush, but you still see some things because you still want some texture in the meatballs. You don't just want a bunch of mushy food that you're eating. So I'm going to put these into balls, and I'm putting mine into whole wheat pitas that I found. So I'm going to make mine smaller, whereas Joe's I might make slightly bigger. I haven't quite decided that yet. But making meatballs is just roam in your hand. You make them as big as your little heart desires is basically the way I'm looking at it. You could also, if you don't want balls, you could flatten them out and have little mini burger meatball patties. That's what I'm trying to say. So you don't want to see me sit here and do this forever and ever. So let's switch to Joe's. Let me wash my hands real quick. Got a towel here. So we will continue to put these on the tray and bake them. But let's switch to Joe's. So in here, I've got 1 1/4 pound of 80/20 ground beef. I've got breadcrumbs, and I've got a ton of Italian seasoning, a little bit of herbs de Provence because I had some, garlic and herb seasoning. He does not want cheese in his meatball. He wants it on top. So that's what I'm going to do. But here is the trick I learned years and years ago. So trick is so you need onion in here. But if you grate the onion, you're also going to get the liquid from the onion. That helps keep your meatballs moist. In the lentil ones, I pulsed it in with my the lentils, so I didn't do that. But in here, and I don't know if Joe can capture the liquid that's happening. So we just need a couple tablespoons. You could go up to as much as 1/4 of a cup. It's totally up to you. So that's probably good. Let's set that aside and get that in. But then you get all the liquid from the onion, and this ensures, and you can do this with meatloaf, you can do this with many, many things. You also don't get a big old hunk of onion, especially if somebody doesn't like that. So I'm going to just stir this in. Now both baking sheets are lined with silicone mats so that it will be easier to clean up and I don't have to spray them with any kind of cooking oil. Okay, so before I make these balls, I want to tell you one other thing. So there's 2 different ways to do the meatballs. You can, after the meatballs are cooked, let them simmer in a marinara sauce and then put them on the bun. There's 2 problems with that. The first one is the lentil meatballs, they're not going to stay together like a traditional meatball will. That's just the difference between beans and ground beef. So I don't want to do it for mine that way. But for Joe's, he's not a huge sauce fan. So I don't want to put too much on. I want to be able to put the meatball on his sub, drizzle some of the spaghetti sauce, the marinara over it, then put his cheese and then bake it in the oven. So how I decided to do the marinara was I took 1 6-ounce container or jar of tomato paste, and I just added the Italian seasoning and the garlic and herb seasoning, and I added about 3 to 4 tablespoons of water to thin it out. So we have a thicker sauce, which is perfect for meatball subs. So that's what we're doing here. And I'm just going to heat this up when the meatballs are done. So Joe, how big do you want your meatballs?
2 ounce.
Really? I don't have the scale out. So there we go. A little bigger? Okay. So, and we will have more than what we need. This is a great freezer meal. And I was also thinking camping season is getting ready to come up. So I was thinking with these extra meatballs, I might freeze them and then they'll be an easy take on the camping trip to make sandwiches one day when we come back from touring or hiking and we just want something simple. That will be something we'll do. So no point in you watching me do these meatballs. They're both going to cook in the oven. The oven is on 400 degrees and they will cook for about 30 minutes. And then when we come back, we'll actually show you the finished product of what it looks like and be able to taste it for you. So we'll be back in a bit. Hi, welcome back. As you can see, the balls have come out of the oven. So here's the lentil ones, and these are the meatballs. So now we're going to put the sub together. Mine doesn't need to go in the oven like Joe's does. So this is where we teach you all about the secrets of a sub shop. Our sub shop, we did hot sandwiches way back before it was the cool thing to do. We have turned our oven temp to 450 degrees, and we are using this very well-used screen that we always used at the sub shop. We did have gas stoves at the sub shop also, which ours is a gas stove, which you can do. Yeah, and you can buy these anywhere. So this is just a sub roll I got at the store. There's nothing special about it. And now we're going to put, oh, sorry. You want a little schmear sauce. I'm sorry. Schmear. There we go. 4. You got it. 1. Ooh, these are a little warm. 2, 3. Now, pending your size of your bun, pending the size of your meatballs, you can cut the meatballs in half if it fits your bun situation better. Just FYI. More. Smear on the top. Okay. And then the sauce or the cheese. All of it. Yep. So this is just mozzarella that I shredded. You could use pizza cheese if you wanted. In the sub shop, we always use provolone. So, okay. Now at 450 degrees, it's only going to take about 6 minutes. Not very long at all. Is this good? You want more? Okay. So we're going to get this in the oven. While that's in the oven, because the oven's been on most of the morning because of various things we've been doing. This probably is not going to take long. Plus, the meatballs are still hot. So let me get this in the oven. Now, there's one thing about using this. You might get drippage in your oven. So you might need to clean the oven, wipe it out once it gets a little bit cool. While we're waiting for that to come out, let me tell you about just subs in general. Subs is a great idea if you're having people over because you could lay out all the different meats and cheeses and toppings and different kinds of breads. You wouldn't necessarily have to do sub rolls. And then people just go through and make their own sandwich. You could, for heat, if you do want to do hot subs, you could do a griddle where you could press it like a panini, or you can just have the oven on 450 degrees so that people can melt their cheese and heat up their meat. And then, they can add their toppings and then serve it with whatever you want. But subs is a great idea for a lot of people, but also subs that you can make subs and then take them on a hike or take them camping or whatever the case may be. So actually, while we're waiting for yours, should I go ahead and make mine? That's probably a good idea. Serving wise, today we're going to serve it with raw veggies and clementines. So we've got our clementines here. So I have a whole wheat pita that I cut in half. And so I'm going to open this up and I'm going to put in, ooh, I need a little thing for mine. Oh, we got this one over here. So I'm going to put 1 in and 2. I might be able to fit a 3rd one in here. Let's see here. 1. Yeah, I'm going to put a 3rd one in here. Why not? Let me get one of the smaller ones. Okay. Ooh, these are warm. So I got my lentil balls in there. Now I'm going to drop. Now I am more of a saucy girl than Joe is. So I'm probably going to add a little bit more than he did on his. And then I also like toppings. So I actually have over here some, what are these called? Candied jalapenos. I got them at like a farmer's market or something. And I'm just going to add them to the top. I thought about, I could have done also some grilled onions. And I just forgot to do them until we were getting ready to eat. So I'll taste mine. Does that sound good while we're waiting on yours to come out? So I'm going to serve mine with carrot sticks, cucumbers, and some cuties. But most importantly, we need to give this a try. Mmm. 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 So I will link the recipe that I used for this. These are very good. But like I was saying, they're different than a meatball. They're not going to keep their shape. It's just the nature of lentils. That's not a big deal. It still has all the flavor, and I can still go on with my health goals. So I'm gonna have another bite. Okay, so this will be mine. How's yours looking, Joe?
Thank you.
Okay, I got your plate here. I had put his cheese on the plate and then we moved it around. So let's do this. Oh, wow. Not sure if everyone can see this. Got a good view of that. Okay. So do you want to put anything on it or you just want to eat it as is? Okay. It's going to be hot. Did you want a fork and knife? Here's a fork and knife if you do. He's going to have carrot sticks, and he's got 2 cuties over here, too. But, yeah, cheese is melted. You see, it doesn't take long at all when it's a 450-degree oven. So, yeah, I kind of figured. The hope is that the back of the sub doesn't break. That was always, we had a bakery that we used, and it was much nicer when we didn't have that. Sometimes if we had to go and get them somewhere else, we had problems. But I'll show there you go. So, Jardiniere is another awesome topping for a meatball sub. FYI. Hot. As good as the sub shop. The sub shop we did buy commercially done meatballs, and these we did from scratch, homemade, and then we'll have lots of leftovers for a camping trip. So,
very good.
Buns toasted, not overly done. When you have the bun open like that, as long as you start to see it start to get crispy there, you'll know that this is still good. Because you want a little crisp on the outside, but you don't want this whole thing crispy. That's not what you want at a sub.
Usually, it was just provolone or mozzarella cheese, the meatballs, the sauce. Like I said, at the sub shop, we put the meatballs into the marinara, then scooped them onto the bread, topped it with the provolone, put them in the oven for 4 to 5 minutes at 450. And like you said, it just, once your cheese melted, start to get a little bit of that golden brown look. You want your bread to get a little toasty, but you're not looking to, burn it or anything. And then once that's done, you pull it out. Some people liked it with jalapenos or banana peppers.
Some people put lettuce and tomato. They'd have us put that on there. So keep in mind, your meatballs do need to be hot. They are not going to get fully hot in the oven at just 5 or 6 minutes. So these just came out. Even if you, like tomorrow, he wants a meatball, he would nuke the meatballs to make sure that, put them in the microwave, make sure they're done, and then he would do the normal, what we just said.
Yeah. So different ways you can do it. She made the perfect size meatballs where they fit nice and smooth on here. If you buy the store-bought, the frozen Italian meatballs, they're usually like a 1 ounce meatball. They're a little small, I think, for the sandwich, for this kind of situation. If you cut them in half and just kind of pile a bunch of them on there, that'll work. Or if you can, lucky enough, you can find a 2 ounce meatball, that'll work really good because with the 2 ounce meatball, you get that right size diameter to fit on your bun or roll. And you could do this also on the little slider rolls.
Yes. With a 2 ounce meatball.
Yes.
Yes.
With the, what do they call those rolls?
The Hawaiian rolls. You take the lid off and you would put a 2 ounce meatball in each with a little bit of sauce and marinara, put the lid back on, and then bake it in the oven, and then everybody would have their own little square.
So there's a lot of variety you can use this and build off of whatever your situation is. You can do them outside. You can put these on your grill as well. It doesn't take long to do them. You can usually crank up your grill to 400 or so, as long as you have a lid so you can close it down and kind of give it the oven heat to build off of. But definitely something you can do in a lot of different varieties and a lot of different ways. And like Sheila said, even if you're not doing meatball subs, you want to do Italian or ham and cheese, whatever type of turkey, whatever type of meat or bean
patty,
bean ball you want to do. You can do these because once they're cooked, you can serve them cold. Meatballs typically are hot. I don't know how
these would be fine room temperature, not a problem.
So, like she said, taking them on a camping trip or doing something different would definitely be something you can do. Packing little sandwiches with your Italian meats and your stuff. You can even pre-cook those and then eat those left over. Like if you did the same thing with an Italian sandwich, put your meats and cheeses on with your bread, put it in the oven, then go ahead and top it with your lettuce, tomatoes, onions, pickles, whatever you like. Once you have it at that point, you could wrap it up, eat it the next day. If you're going on a camping trip or doing a hike or something, you could easily eat those cold. And they will obviously not be quite as crispy and fresh like that, but
they're better than you going to 7-Eleven and buying it or getting a sandwich out of a machine. Yeah.
And it's definitely cheaper. I mean, hamburgers $3.50 or whatever a pound. So this has got maybe $4.50 worth of that we got invested in $5 worth of cheese.
You'd spend $4 more than $4 on one sub, and you've got enough
I'll have enough for at least 3 sandwiches out of this alone. And these will freeze, so you can freeze either type and then pull them out later, thaw them out, and you could do sandwiches later. So again, goes into that, making food ahead of time and having it ready to go. So
your future self will thank yourself. Yep. Exactly.
That's all I got.
So let us know. Do you like subs? Do you like hot subs? Do you like cold subs? And what are you going to try this week? So we hope you have a great week. Thanks for joining One Dish, Two Ways. And if you like what you're seeing, you could give us a like and a subscribe. Thank you.